Hello, everyone. My name is Lindsay Isham, and I am here with a good friend of mine today that I actually just met, but we are good friends because we are have so many things in common, being both homeschool moms. And so I'm excited for you to be able to learn from Cecily. But I wanted to first off just start out by saying, if you are a homeschool mom, here are some things that her and I both know about you. First of all, you're a planner. You love to know exactly what's going to happen next week and maybe even a month out. Or, as my husband likes to kid me, sometimes I plan our whole year at a time, one at a time. We are also queen multitaskers. We like to do multiple things at the same time. And when we decided to make the decision to become homeschoolers, most of us left a job or left a career or left something else that we were already doing and sacrificed to make the decision to make this a priority for our family. And so you're with kids all day long, and yet you need some sort of outlet and adult one-on-one time. Not only that, you're always worried that you're not doing a good job, right? I tell homeschool moms all the time that are thinking about it, like, listen, you're never going to think you're going to be a great homeschool mom, but trust me and trust your gut. Like, you can do this if you are willing to step out of your comfort zone and try something new. So rewind 8 years ago, my story started just like that. I had a 5, 3, and 1-year-old. I had just began to homeschool preschool and kindergarten. And I was feeling this weight of, you know what? I loved being at home with my kids. Literally, I went to college to get my MRS and mom degree, is what I tell people, because I knew that's all I ever wanted to do. But deep down, I realized that I had made a decision to give up my quote unquote career to instead sacrifice and be at home with my children because they are always going to be my number one thing. Now, when that really started to play out, and all of a sudden, here they are with these 6 eyeballs looking at me all of the time, I slowly began to feel this urge to, like, okay, there's got to be something that I can do, because I hated telling them no. We were on a very strict budget. I, in fact, remember going to the grocery store with a calculator. We were on such a strict budget, Dave Ramsey budget, envelope system. And, I was like, okay, Lord, I know I'm doing this for our family. I know that you're providing for us, but there has got to be something else I can do to help people and really, use the gifts that you've given me in order to alleviate some financial stress from my husband, because I watched it all over his face every time he walked in the door, right? He was like feeling the load on his shoulders. He was working so much. We hardly ever got time with him. So even though family was really important to us, it was like me and the kids and then him and his career. And so literally I began praying one summer about this time of year. And I said, okay, Lord, there's got to be something I can do. Well, thankfully, he sent another homeschool mom friend of mine to my inbox in Facebook Messenger. We had Facebook friends that were mutual, but we did not know each other. And yet she was a pastor's wife. And she literally came to me saying, listen, Lindsay, if you're anything like me, and you're feeling that financial stress and you want a way to contribute, I'd love to teach you more about how to solve that problem for you. And so when I first heard about Rodina Fields and really all things skincare, I laughed because I told her, I was like, listen, I'm not even washing my face. Like, I'm not even sure how I am going to be a skincare consultant and help other people with their skin when I know nothing about it. And she assured me that we had systems in place, the products were incredible, and that she would be there with me every step of the way. And so again, fast forward now 8 years, y'all, our life looks completely different than it did when I first started. I was able to help my husband get out of the career that he hated and actually start his own business. We now are sending our oldest, who is going into high school, to a private school on purpose. We chose to do that. And yet I'm still able to stay at home with my younger two. When initially the deal was, once all of my kids were of school age, then I would have to go get a job again teaching, which was my background, and I would send them all off to public school. Now, we love public school. There's nothing wrong with it, but I just felt in my heart that God wanted me to teach my children. And so I'm so grateful that I've had this time. I've been able to invest in my family. Again, you guys are moms, the years fly by, totally fly by. I'm literally looking at my oldest going to high school thinking, how did we already get here? How are we already in the teenage years? But I'm so very grateful for this business. So I want you now to be able to meet my friend Cecily and hear a little bit more about her and her family. So Cecily, please introduce yourself and tell us how long you've been a consultant and a little bit more about your family.
Yeah, hi. My name is Cecily. I'm from Indiana, the Hoosier State. I am married to my best friend and the love of my life, who is a pastor and an Army chaplain. And we have two fantastic daughters. I have a 5-year-old and a 12-year-old, about to be 13-year-old. I've been in the business for a little over 6 months now, and loving every minute of it. Let me think, what else? I joined and started because I had an itchy scalp. And so that is really how I learned about Rodan Fields actually. And so here we are.
Yeah, awesome. So the itchy scalp, yes, definitely a thing. My problem was, I just needed to know a simple skincare routine to actually take care of my skin, like actually be proactive in it. And waking up when I'm 60 and thinking, oh my gosh, I should have probably done something. And so that itchy scalp led for you to then have the conversation more about the business. So what problem were you trying to solve by becoming a consultant?
Mm. So, well, with the itchy scalp, I was trying to fix that. But as a stay-at-home mom and a homeschool mom, we lived off one income, and so that is always, a financial strain almost for most people. And being a pastor's wife in ministry, you don't usually marry your man for financial gain when you're marrying a pastor. And so we live check to check. We always budget. It's a big deal, and so for us, I just wanted a way to help and feel like I contributed. Like I never told my husband that deep down, I didn't feel like I contributed. I left a high paying career of over 15 years in healthcare. And during COVID, COVID hit and I had some health issues and it stopped me from working. And my doctors were like, you absolutely cannot work. And I was like, well, what am I supposed to do now? And so through prayer, we were like, okay, maybe the Lord's moving us to homeschool. So we've been homeschooling this will be our 4th year now. And we are loving it. My kids are loving it and they don't want to go back to school. So I'm like, okay. But deep down inside, I kept thinking, I don't feel like I contribute financially to our family. And even though it's not true, like you contribute so much other things as a homeschool mom, that I just thought, I just really kind of want to help take that weight off my husband's shoulders, that financial burden. And so been praying, and a friend of mine was just sharing, that this might be a great opportunity for me. And she just said, this might not be a great fit for you. Like it's not a great fit for everybody, but it might be a really great way that the Lord wants to, use your family and use you and do great things for your family. So, so here we are,
I love
6 months later.
That's right. Okay. So 6 months in,
6 months in.
very practically, like how you feel like this has alleviated that financial stress. What has it done for you, as a mom and as someone who left a career and now you have something of your own? Again, I remember that tug as well. Like, I know that I could take the career path, but I'm willing to give that up. But a part of me is like, I know I would be good at a career. So you're constantly in this pendulum swinging back and forth. So give those moms out there who are looking into this a real idea of what the last 6 months and being a consultant has done for you.
Well, it has helped. Not only has it helped my hair. Okay, so I've got more volume in my hair and I no longer have my itchy scalp. I was not a face washer prior to becoming a brand ambassador, but I now I have better skin. So that's great too. Those are just basic things. The skin and hair are both improved. But the other thing that I've noticed, and my husband has noticed, that my confidence level has just like spiked. It's kind of crazy. Like I'm a severe introvert. And so I break out in hives. Like they ask me to speak at church and I'm breaking out in hives in the back. And the ladies are just like laughing. I'm sweating. It's awful. And so it's kind of changed my personality. I'm more outgoing. I'm more vibrant, which cracks me up. But I just remember that financially, it's let a huge burden off of our shoulders. I always knew that there was potential to make an income here in the future. I just always thought in the long run, like 3-5 years down the road, like a long way out. And I was able to pay my mortgage in the first 90 days of my business. And I don't say that to be braggy. I say that because the day it happened, I called my team lead and I cried because I didn't even know that that was a possibility. Like, I knew some people maybe were really great at this job, they really strive right off the bat. And I just really thought, I'm probably not that girl. Like, I'm an introvert, I'm beautistically challenged, I don't even wash my face, I don't really know about skincare. I thought this might not take off like that, or I might not be able to do that for a long time, for years. And it was kind of a mind blower for me that, like, oh my gosh, this is really possible. Like, this is a really great avenue for me, to kind of get my community, to get, out of just the homeschool world, which was something else I needed that I didn't even realize I needed. But the confidence that's come, the financial gain that's come, the great hair and skin is great too. I've heard them say, it's a transformation. It's a personal transformation with a compensation plan. And even if the compensation wasn't all that great, which it has been, the personal transformation that I've seen through my life has been remarkable. Has been remarkable. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, I tell my team all the time, and I know it's true of myself too. I used to be very, very shy. The idea of public speaking was like not going to happen for me, like all these things. But I do know that I have become a better wife, mom, friend, communicator, like being able to share even the love of Jesus with people in a more confident way than I
Right.
was, right? Because when you learn all of these skills about communicating and helping people, it transitions over into every area of your life. And I too, Cecily, remember my first paycheck was $687. Y'all, I will never forget that number for the rest of my life because my goal was 200. And I knew that there was potential of all these other things. But I remember walking to my husband, showing him the email and be like, oh, like I was so proud and giving myself, like, I've always been competitive. And so to give myself something, I like a challenge. I like something that is, making me grow, making me step out of my comfort zone. I'm teaching my children. I want you to grow. I want you to know that life's not easy and you are going to have to step out of your comfort zone. And so for them to now watch me in the transition that I have had over the last several years as well has been absolutely amazing. So, all right, last question, Cecily. What would you say to any homeschool mom out there who doesn't think she would be good at this?
Mhm. We've all thought it too. You're not alone. First, let's start there. I guess my first question back is, um, I'm sure you felt the same way about homeschooling, right? Like, you don't go into homeschooling thinking, I'm going to rock this from day one. Like, I am going to really excel. My kids are going to be the next genius because of my great homeschooling ability. You go in thinking, oh, this is something new. This is something scary. Like, this is something I've never done before. And I may fail, right? Like, we think it all the time. Even 4 years in, I go, oh, I'm about to teach a kid how to read for the first time. And I don't know how to do that, right? Like, you just naturally go, oh, it's kind of scary. But at the same time, you take a step of faith, like, right? Like, we pray about things and we make the decision to try, right? And sometimes I think it's worth that step of faith, to see what will happen, and you don't get, like, we joke about this great 60-day money back guarantee, right? Like, this is a huge thing. You don't get that with homeschool. Like, I don't know that if I buy a curriculum that I'm going to get 60-day money back guarantee. Like, if my kid doesn't like it, I'm not getting that guarantee. Where in ours, you do get that too. And we encourage people to try longer than that 60 days. But at the same time, like, you don't get any of that in homeschool, and yes, we're preppers, we're planners, we're budgeters. We really think through all the aspects of the possibility. So we really do see the possibility that's there. We just have to take a step of faith and try, and even like with a new curriculum, if something doesn't work with your kid, you take a step of faith and try another curriculum, right? Like, the English isn't working last year. You give it another year and try a different one and see, if it works. And so I just think it all takes the same step of faith, right? Like, just being brave to try it. Like, if you weren't brave to try homeschool, would you know now that you love it? Right? Would you know all the awesome things that come from homeschooling? You wouldn't. I wouldn't, because honestly, I was not one of those women that thought I want to stay home and homeschool my kids. Like, never did that thought cross my mind. And I would be missing out on a lot of great things that happen that I get to stay home and see happen. And this job has been a great vehicle for that because I get to still do my job that I love and I get to be with my family that I love. And so this has just been a great fit for us to be able to do it in the little pockets of time. When my kids are having reading time, like book basket time, I can send a few messages. When I can make a phone call, like I can do a few things. And then there are some days that it's like, every day of chaos. Sometimes I call myself the chaos coordinator at our house because it's just pure chaos. Sometimes kids are running around not dressed or shooting Nerf guns instead of reading books. Like that's just a normal day, I think, in homeschool world, right? Like I think everybody's house is probably like that way, or maybe it's just mine and I just assume everybody's is that way. But you get to build it, just like you get to build a homeschool the way you want your school that works for your family. You get to do the same thing with this business, which is phenomenal because you get to mold it and make it into something that's yours and fits your family. And so you get to put those sweet times of children and teaching, you get to set those aside. And then you're a planner. So I'm sure you're like me, you have your planner and you've planned out your day. And even though it doesn't end up looking anything like that in the end, you still, you get to put those little pockets of time. You can work too from home, from your kitchen table while your kids are, right there playing or doing school. And so it might be a really great fit for your family.
Absolutely. I will 100% second that. You're gonna have like fear is a total liar. And I'm like, anything I'm afraid of, I would just want to like go move towards it now that I have had a personal growth. I used to not be that way at all because I was terrified. I was terrified of failing. I was terrified of what other people would think of me. But you're right, Cecily. If you do not step out in fear, step out in faith and overcome that fear, you're never going to see the beauty on the other side. And so what I can tell you is that, all of those things are normal. But for me, I had a problem. I knew I needed to alleviate some financial stress. Was not willing to go, back to school or go get a full-time job or anything else outside of the home, even a part-time job. I did not want to drop my kids off at daycare. Like I was like, they are my main priority. And so, I also was not like the super inventor. Like I didn't have this great idea, like, ooh, go start a business, do this, right? I needed somebody to tell me exactly what to do, exactly how to help people, and exactly how to grow. And that is what this business provides for you. And ultimately, like Cecily says, you're going to see that it becomes a personal growth with a paycheck. The more you personally are growing and helping other people, of course, the more your paycheck grows. But it is a wonderful thing that you can commit to doing 30 minutes a day or 3 hours a day or whatever your financial need. You can work up to that. Again, it's not a get rich quick business. Never has been, never will be. And so do not expect that whenever you do say yes. But, again, my question for you at the end of the day is if you had a vehicle right now that would bring you in potentially $500 a month, what would that do for you and your family? And would it be worth it for you to jump out of your comfort zone, be coachable, learn something new, try something new so that you could say yes more to whatever that is, or again, alleviate that stress from your husband. So we invite you to this incredible community. I can tell you that I have met so many amazing people through it. We're all in this together, like really and truly. It's a lot of like-minded moms who are like, okay, we know what we want. Family is first. We need something to be flexible. And yet we still know that at the end of the day, money pays the bills, money puts food on the table, money does have a need. So we invite you to join us. Again, circle back to anyone who has sent this video to you. Be honest with them. Say, hey, listen, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I need. These are my hesitations, whatever that looks like. We want to have an honest conversation to figure out if this is a good fit for you. But at the end of the day, if you are on a scale of 1 to 10 and you say, oh, okay, I think I'm like 7, 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there, I just encourage you. Like my husband literally had to push me out of the coop. He was like, Lindsay, I'm tired of hearing you talk about it. I'm tired of hearing you overanalyze every little detail, being so afraid. You just got to do it. Just do it. So that is my advice for all of you. Again, thank you so much for tuning in. We look forward to welcoming you into this amazing community. And thank you so much, Cecily, for all of your great wisdom.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Mhm.